Hello, everyone. My name is Tucker, and welcome back to our Russian Fishing for Spin Fishing character. I logged in just a second ago, haven't done anything other than switch out for the Aquila 4G004 lure that we were catching some fish on, and figured we'd cast out and see what we can get today. At the end of last episode, we did get up to level 9, so we do have another point to spend, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in spinner baits, max out spinner baits. And we had a fish on while I was doing that. So we'll reel this in, see what it is, and hopefully get some good fish today. We did buy this lure at the end of last episode, and at the very end of last episode, caught a couple of nice little chubs on it. It's late in the day today, so we'll probably switch over to the 4G 4-gram Aquila 006 in a little bit, which is a little bit darker and works better at night. Pretty decent perch there. Again, I forgot to look at the cafe orders before coming out here. We're in our usual spot up here just north of the cafe at the end of the river here. And so far, 3 for 3 on casts. Man, someone just caught a 200-kilo catfish. That must have been fun. The end of the last episode, I was debating if I wanted to buy another lure or not. Decided against it for now. Want to try and save some money up. I'd like to have a bottom rod or two, just some more options to make some money. Just have a rod in the water that's just waiting there for a fish to grab it. For about 155 silver, there's a good kit you can buy that's actually cheaper than buying the parts separate. And if you're not a spin fisherman, that's what a lot of people will rush towards, is getting 3 of those starter bottom or feeder fishing kits. Another small chub. Still getting skill up points, which I'll take. I'd love to see level 10 at the end of today, but that's 6,000 experience points. I'm not going to rule it out, but probably a little bit of a stretch. Depends on what we catch. If we catch a couple of big fish, that'll be easy. Decent chub, up to 14% on spin fishing. I don't know if you saw it there. I cast out, I started reeling in, saw a bit of a bite, and then it relaxed, so I let off and then hit it again. Just uh, just above a 666 chub, but I'll take it. 667. Sorry about that. Had a couple of sneezes there and muted the mic. Just let off the mouse for a second there as well. The winds have been blowing pretty good here and kicking up my allergies. But it's that time of year where fall's happening, and here pretty soon everything will get a lot better in that regards. Work email's going a little crazy. Caught a last minute fish here. It was a decent chub too. Let's mute that. And we're not getting big fish, but we're getting reasonable fish. And looking in chat, I'm not really seeing people getting big fish either. I tend to have better luck late in the evening or first thing in the morning. We got a decent fish on here, although I hadn't upped my friction brake as much as I thought I had. It's probably about 800 to 900. Right at 800. 300 experience points for that one fish. And looking over at chat, everyone's starting to catch fish that are in that range. Small little perch, but I'll take it. I haven't cast up that side yet today, so let's see what happens. A whole lot of nothing. So far, hugging the bank over here has been our best bet. Doing the good old cast out, get a speed up, let it drop. Although didn't get a speed up there at the end. Next stages for me here are to look at getting a bottom rod or two just to hopefully increase our income a little bit, and then start looking at a little bit bigger equipment. Honestly, you don't need too much bigger to get to Belaya or things like that, but it wouldn't be, I wouldn't say no to having just a little bit of a better reel. Spin fishing, you're not usually going after big fish, strong fish early on, especially. Later on, you may get tamins and things like that. So with the sun coming down, let's go put on one of the Aquilas, and the Aquila 4G006. A little bit of a darker color, tends to work a little bit better at night. And we bought one of these, and then we also got a free one from the game when we got up to level 9. So far, things have slowed down a little bit in this spot. We may go back down to the spot towards the end of the river. Or we'll catch a decent fish. Right now, I'm not reeling in at all because that just wears out your equipment. Basically, only reeling in when the fish lets me. Also, using the rod at the angles here to keep tension on it and wear it out, hopefully. This is a good fish. I can't walk up that side of the river or anything like that, so I can't try and chase it down. We still have quite a bit of line left. Swimming towards me now, so I'm reeling fast. That's about as high as I can get my friction brake. We may lose this fight. I've hit an invisible wall. I can't walk any further up. Good news is we're making some progress on it now. If we reel this in, it'll be a good fish. Kind of glad I lowered my friction brake a bit there, because it probably jumped out of the water even though we can't see it. It may have worn itself out. At least that's what it's feeling like. I haven't felt it pull on the line in a bit. I'm still keeping tension on it. It also hasn't tried to swim towards me or anything either. We've got about half of our line back in that it took out. And what I'm looking at for the line, if you're not sure, is in the bottom, about 2/3 of the way to the right of the screen, there's a icon with a circle, and part of it's white. That shows how much of your line is still available. It got down to about a quarter, and we're back to about 2/3 right now. And right now I'm actually holding shift, so I'm really reeling in pretty quickly, because I don't want it to suddenly get some slack in the line as it's getting more into the current now. We can see it. Looks like a good chub. I'd like to make my way back over to the little dock thing because it'll be easier to get the fish in. But yeah, that is a nice little fish. It was an asp, 1.9 kilogram asp. So remember when I said we needed 6,000 experience points, and if we catch a good fish, it'll be easy? Well, there's 4,500 experience points right there in one fish. I will take that. That's a nice, nice fish. Out of curiosity, let's go look at our reel. So I pressed V to get to this screen. And then if you hit the parts indicator here, you can see how much wear is done. So our mechanism's got 1.5% wear, and our friction brake has 2.2% wear. So right now, our friction brake, it's supposed to be a 3.2%, but it's 2.2% or 3.2 kilogram. Right now, it's 2.2% less than that. So it's about a 3 kilogram friction brake capacity. So still plenty of capacity on it, but something you want to keep an eye on. You can repair your reels. Later on, you can even upgrade your friction brakes on certain reels, things like that as well. But since this lure did good, let's see what happens when we cast it out again. We did start about 5 o'clock in the evening, so we're about 9 hours into the day. 10 fish. And one really nice, almost 2 kilogram asp. If that was a chub, the way it was pulling, it was probably a trophy chub. So there's someone who put too much weight on their line, had their line bigger than their reel and their rod, and they just broke their reel and broke their rod. You can repair your mechanism on your reel, but you have to buy a new rod if that happens. So you want to be a little bit careful when you're sizing your reel and your rod. Honestly, right now our leader's probably a little bit bigger than it should be, but it was only options we had. Typically, I like my line. I like my rod to be the strongest, my reel to be the second strongest, then my line to be the third, and leader to be the last. That way, if something breaks, what breaks is your leader. You lose your hook, you lose your lure, but you don't lose all your line, you don't break your reel, you don't break your rod. And leaders and lures are cheaper to replace than rods and reels, especially later on. Right now, not as much. And I think the reel we're using is like a 10 silver reel. I'd actually have to look. Not seeing much, but again, nighttime's not my best fishing. Ooh, someone just got a pretty decent chub there. Interesting airplane just flew overhead. Here, I was trying to figure out what the noise was outside. We weren't supposed to have rain, and it sounded a bit like thunder. Depending on the wind, I am somewhat in the flight path of the local airports. Usually not directly, but they're usually still pretty high up in the air when they're passing, but they will pass overhead occasionally. I did switch back over to these, I think it's 004 Aquila. Yeah, just to see what happens with it with the sun starting to come out. I may also switch and try the Hunter Spiker that we were using for a while too. Hello, last minute big fish. Nice, 1.3 kilo eyed. Another 1,000 experience points, almost up to 15%, and almost up to level 10. So if you saw the thing in the bottom right there that said casting control power or something like that is required, I accidentally hit control while hitting shift as well. And as part of the recent patch, they added a new skill that lets you control how quickly your casting meter goes up, where you can press control and it'll go up at half the rate of normal. So if you're trying to do a precision cast, you'd want that. Definitely not my intention there, just accidentally fat fingered shift and control at the same time. Small fish on here, but still a fish. I've been thinking about this character and my float character. And right now, if I think about it, we've made 100 or 150 silver, somewhere in that range. We spent about 100 of it. And I would think at this point on my float character, level 9, I'd probably made more silver, but I hadn't leveled up as quickly. So level 10 on a 650 gram chub. So I do think we are leveling up much, much quicker on spin fishing than float or bottom fishing. Nice, they gave us a spoon for leveling up. We can't even use that yet. So this is going to be our final free gift for reaching level 10. But we did get up to level 10. So today has definitely been a good day, but I definitely think you get more experience per fish. You do get more silver per fish on average from spin fishing, but you don't, since you get more experience points than you do additional silver, it's a higher rate of experience. So I do think you level up a lot quicker. Does the statistics actually track how much silver you made? No. I was curious. Yeah, we've only caught 86 fish, and I bet if I look at my float fishing character that's level 12, we're in probably closer to 1,000. I may have to look at that on my float fishing character. And even over on my float fishing character, silver has been the gate more than leveling up. Being able to afford bigger and better rods. This is a decent little fish here. Looks like we're averaging about a fish an in-game hour. Nice little asp. We did hit level 15% on spin fishing. And we've unlocked using a spoon. So that lure we got at level 10, we just unlocked the ability to use it. But even this one, non-marker fish, almost 1,000 experience points. And for episode 4, fourth in-game day, and we haven't really spent a full day most of the days to be already up to level 10. I would say we're leveling up pretty well. Let's try the Spiker 2 18. This was the lure that we used really to get from 1 to level 8. And I've thought about buying, so this is the 00 or 018, 018. I've thought about buying the 017, 017. The only difference between it is it doesn't have the black spots. Most people swear by this version of it. I've got a just character that I play around with, and I've been using the 017 because you couldn't buy the 018 here for the longest time. and I've been seeing pretty good results with it. But it's another 50 silver that I'm not sure I really want to spend right now. Small fish here. I'm in the mood for a change of scenery, so let's go down to our other spot that we've been fishing and see what our options are. But I also wanted to stop by here and take a look at the orders to see if there's anything worthwhile keeping. The answer is no, nothing really spinfish related there. So we've started about 5 o'clock. It's about 6, 7 o'clock. We already have 32 silver on 15 fish. And that big asp we caught was almost 14 silver. Decent on that hide there as well too at 7. So that would get us up to about 97 if I sold right now. If I remember correctly, the starter bottom kit that I'd like to have just to have another rod to get in the water. If I remember correctly, it's 155. It might be 150. But either way, it's definitely a good starter reel. And then or starter kit, and then it comes with a reel you can easily upgrade. So it comes with a 4.5 kilo reel, and you can upgrade it to a 5.5. I think it's now 5.4 after the recent update. You can update it to a 5.4 kilo for, I think it's 20 silver. And I've seen it even go up to a 6 for, I want to say it was like 60 silver, but that really didn't make sense to me. That honestly put more. So there's two concepts to reels in this game. There's the friction brake, which is the value you see on the reel. So when I look at this reel and it says it has a 3.3 kilogram. When I look at this reel and it says it has a 3.2 kilogram max drag, that's your friction brake. It also has a mech weight, which is a hidden value. There's some spreadsheets out there that you can use to reference, but entry level reels and reels, you don't really want a difference in. There's not really a difference in the friction brake versus the mech weight. They're basically the same. Later on, your friction brake may be 20 kilos, but your mech weight could be 40, 50, 60. So it lets you at least lift up a fish at the end or catch bigger fish. And you can upgrade your friction brake to get a little closer to that as well. But kind of 6 a dozen, half a dozen, however you want to look at it. I'm just kind of casting out in a few random spots as we go by just to see what might be out there. We did catch a small chub while I was talking there, and now that we got up to level 10, we've unlocked qualifications as well. So we unlocked part of the qualification for spin fishing because we've caught 3 different types of fish spin fishing, and now we're over level 10. Hello, fish. So I'm somewhat okay with it swimming to the left because here the current goes left to right. So it's using more energy trying to swim upstream. That's why when it started trying to go downstream, I stepped over to the right to kind of chase it back upstream. And if it goes straight ahead, that's actually a little, almost a lake off the river. There's no current in that area ahead of us. And there's no exit from it as well. Most people will call it the pond at Winding, and I'll show you on the map when I don't have a fish on the line. That pond is a great place to do bottom fishing, float fishing here at Winding. We got a jumper on our hands. That's the second time I've seen it pop out of the water like that. It's definitely not a perch. It was too silvery white. I couldn't tell if it was an asp or a chub. Didn't see enough of it on that jump either. It's a pike. 1.7 kilo pike. And that qualified us for part of the qualification. Honestly, I don't know too much about the qualifications. They're somewhat new. And as part of the recent update, you don't even get to unlock them until level 10. So, nice little in game kind of missions to follow along, but you don't have to. Yeah, nice 1.7 kilo pike there. I'm going to cast back out in the general vicinity of that, see what we get. Little baby chub. I just realized we leveled up to 10 and I can put a point in something. One of those just remembered moments. Small asp. So we did, getting up to level 10 did give us 2 points as well. We did unlock fishing with a spoon. I probably won't use that for a while. I'm going to put a point into using a spinning reel and using a spinning rod. That'll get us better casting and casting accuracy. So we should be able to cast a little bit further and a little bit better control of fish, which should help us with the bigger fish as well. Small perch. This is the first time I've ever fished here at this particular spot. So we're at 105, 121, casting towards the edge of the pond. And I know I mentioned earlier that it's a pond. So that's what I'm talking about here is this is a bit of a pond, and fishing right off here is a great spot for bottom fishing and float fishing. I do a lot of rough fishing there. So there's a fish called ruff, Ruffe, and it's a night fish. It's small, but it bites pretty regularly and it's worth a fair amount. And they actually increased the price of it by about a silver a fish recently. So it was already pretty good in my opinion, and it got even better. So that's a good night fish, especially in bottom fishing. You can do it on float fishing, but it's more of a bottom fish. The other thing I'll fish there is bleak. You can get bleak out in the river as well. You'll see high level folks come fish bleak because they can use it to catch bait fish, to catch bigger fish. And a lot of them will use 3 float rods in the current and just switch between them, and my brain goes crazy seeing it. But it's definitely fun to see. So another small asp, 156 experience points, up to 15.7. Let's go cast down here. Looks like a small perch. Very small perch. This is kind of our usual spot here. Sitting there and casting over that log. Looks like the white bream are active here today. We saw a lot of people catching some decent white bream. More of a float fishing, bottom fishing fish there. Marker perch. Let's give the spiker a try a couple times. This spot seems to have slowed down a little bit for me recently. This used to be my go-to spot, and the one north of the cafe was my backup. It seems like the one up above the cafe is my better spot right now. And I say north, I know I'm looking north here and we ran down south, but talking right up here, I don't know why I said north. Just felt like we were always going up there on a map instead of to the side. West of the cafe, I guess, would be more appropriate. Not really seeing much here. I do want to try the Aquila out this way. I don't think I've done that yet. It's a little bit warm, not too bad, still below 20. Yeah, small perch. So I don't think we've actually come down here too often. This is the campsite. You can store stuff in the tent. Later on, you can dry fish, you can smoke and cook fish, and you can cook stuff here. A lot of times, you'll make tea or coffee, which actually counts as food in the game. And especially if you're doing bait fit or bottom fishing, float fishing, digging for worms is a great way to get bait and level up your bait harvesting skill, and that uses energy to do so. So you'll be eating a lot more food than we have been. Little baby chub. Right now, the only food I've eaten in game has been the free food. We had a fish on before I even started reeling it in. I love it. Although both of them have been very small fish. The only fish, the only food we've been eaten in game so far has been the free stuff at here at Winding and at Mosquito. Later on, when you leave these lakes, you can't do that. You have to have your own food or buy carrots or bread or things like that. So we'll definitely start looking into getting some equipment there. But that's future Tucker problems. Hello. That's a spot I've heard about being good. I've never had any luck there. And first cast here, we get a pretty reasonable fish. Just over a kilogram. Another 400 experience points, too. Still laugh at the start of the episode. We probably won't get to level 10, and here we are a quarter of the way up to level 11. All thanks to that nice asp. Another reasonable fish. Another marker chub. I'll take it. This is how this spot usually goes for me. And of course, as I say something, a fish bites on. Small chub. Honestly, right now I'm just trying a couple different spots to see if there's something I need to fish more. We're about 2 hours in game away from a full day. We've caught 30 fish, which with one rod, I'm happy about that. This feels like a bit of a reasonable fish. Probably 700, maybe 800 grams. Or maybe just shy of 6. Another 4 or 500 gram, if that. Looks like it might be a pike. Yep, 300 gram pike. Did turn out to be a pretty warm day in game. 24 degrees out there right now. marker chub. If I don't catch anything on this cast, I'll probably move a little bit more downriver. Got time for one, maybe two more spots. We're not too far from the end of the river either. That log right there is as far as you can go on the river. With that said, fish can swim under the log. You just can't walk past it. Had some luck down here in the past. A lot of times I have good luck here, bottom and float fishing as well. For chub. So figured I'd come down here. We got a minute or two left before it's been a full day of fishing. Very successful day though. I did not expect to get to level 10 today. Did not expect to get a quarter of the way up till 11. And pretty much right here is as far as you can go down. And not really seeing much of a bite here. Was hoping the game was listening to me and going to have a fish get on there. Doesn't look like we're going to get another fish, but 33 fish in one day on one rod, I will take it. I'm going to guess, so we had 30 silver when we stopped earlier. Didn't catch a lot of big fish after that. So I'm going to say we probably got another 30 silver, 30 to 40 silver, and we'll be somewhere in the 60 to 70 silver range for today. Just a guess. We'll head back over to the fish market and sell what we got. We definitely didn't get any of the cafe orders that were there. I didn't really expect to. Nothing was really a spin fishing type of a setup. I got lost where we were. I was coming up a different part of the river than I thought I was. When I saw the dock, I got really confused. I don't fish a lot next to this sandbar. I will fish here occasionally, usually more float and bottom fishing, but I don't think I've actually thrown a lure out here recently. Perch. It's a marker perch. Not bad for not really expecting to catch a fish. I do need to go eat the free food. As you can see, my health or my food is down about halfway. Comfort's down a little bit more than halfway, and energy's starting to drop. So come over here to the field kitchen, press E, eat the food. You can do that again once an in-game day. So that last fish was almost a silver just by itself. Only 47 silver. We didn't get much more after this the second half of the day. It's still 14 silver for that, 7 silver there, 21 silver just in those two fish. That pretty big pike we caught towards the end was also worth 4 silver. So I'll take it. 47 silver gets us over 100. We sold the most expensive fish we've had gotten to. So 112 silver. Again, kind of my thought for the next thing to buy, just to give us something else to be able to use, is if you go into rods and kits. I've been looking at mainly the feeder starter kit, and it's 149 silver. So definitely a good starter kit to get you going there. But we'll go ahead and wrap it up there for the day. I appreciate everyone watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good one.